Hi, everyone. David Waldrop, certified financial planner with Bridgeview Capital Advisors, a fee-only financial planner. Today, we are going to be talking about net unrealized appreciation. Recently did an article on the blog about net unrealized appreciation. It was kind of a deep dive. And today, I just want to walk through what net unrealized appreciation means and how much you can save in taxes. Just go behind the numbers a little bit to get a sense of just how impactful this often overlooked strategy can be. So let's get into it. All right, net unrealized appreciation. This is a way that you can cut taxes significantly within your 401k. There are a lot of folks out there that work for companies where they've been given stock within the 401k plan. Well, eventually at some point, you're going to leave that company or there's going to be some other qualifying event. Ordinarily, when you pull money from a 401k, you might do so via a rollover, right? You leave the company and you roll over all those pre-tax dollars into an IRA. Well, once you start withdrawing from that IRA, those dollars are taxed at your ordinary income rates. Now, net unrealized appreciation allows you to potentially move the company stock out of your 401k. And instead of paying ordinary income tax rates, you would be paying the much lower long-term capital gains rates. So there's significant savings to be had. First, let's just kind of recap what rates are for ordinary income taxes. And what you can see is the 24% tax rate is for individuals or married couples that are filing jointly that have income in excess of $206,701 to be exact. Okay, so a lot of people are going to fall into these two categories. Once you get past the 24% tax bracket, you're into the 32%. That's a very big jump right there. We want to put that into the column of good problems to have. But this is just a reminder about how high ordinary income tax rates can be when compared with capital gains tax rates, which are on the screen now. So as you can see, if you're married filing jointly and your income is between 96,701 all the way up to 600,000, you have a 15% capital gains tax rate. Well, 15% rate versus 24% on the income side, that's a huge difference. That's where net unrealized appreciation can come in big time. So for those folks that have company stock within their 401k plan, you are looking at a potential opportunity to save thousands upon thousands of dollars in taxes by getting lower rates. A lot of people don't know about this strategy. And then some people that do know about this strategy, unfortunately, there's lots of pitfalls. There's lots of ways that you can go wrong trying to implement this. However, it is a very powerful strategy, and we're going to dive into it a little bit and show you some of the numbers right now. So I have got my calculator up here, and we have a very kind of like basic scenario set up. Try not to get too distracted by, all the, shiny objects on this page. Basically what we're doing is we are starting out with a scenario where someone has 200,000 of employer stock in their 401k. Okay. But their basis is actually 30,000. So they have highly appreciated stock. Maybe they've been with the company for many years and it's grown significantly, but all those shares of stock that the company gave you within the 401k plan, that is contributing to your basis, okay? So your basis in the company stock is 30,000. The value is 200,000, okay? So now we're going to be looking at basically two scenarios. One scenario is that you leave the company, you roll over the funds into an IRA. Within your 401k, you probably have much more than just your employer stock. You might have a variety of different mutual funds. But for this discussion, we're just going to kind of leave that aside and just focus on, how it works when you've got employer stock. But let's say someone isn't aware of the net unrealized appreciation strategy and they decide to roll over all of their funds into an IRA. They're going to go in and they're going to sell all their company stock. They're going to sell all those mutual funds, gets converted to cash and sent over via rollover to a new IRA custodian. Well, now once all those dollars are in that new IRA, eventually when they come out, those dollars are going to be taxed at, you guessed it, ordinary income rates, all of it. Okay. So what this graph and this little calculator is showing is what happens if we compare that scenario to utilizing net unrealized appreciation. So what happens with net unrealized appreciation, this is where a lot of people get tripped up. That $30,000 in basis is going to be taxable when you implement this strategy. So to back up just a little bit, the way that the net unrealized appreciation strategy works is that when you do that rollover distribution from your 401k, when you leave an employer, the company stock is going into a taxable brokerage account where it can be subject to the more favorable long-term capital gains rates. So what you have to envision is you've got a 401k, maybe you've got some mutual funds in there, and then you've got the employer stock. When you go to do the rollover, the mutual funds, those all get sold, those get sent over to an IRA. But the company stock, that's going to get transferred to a regular taxable brokerage account. When that happens, your basis in the stock, that $30,000, that's going to be taxed at your ordinary income rates. Okay. There's no free lunches. The IRS isn't going to let you get away with, having a free lunch. Sorry. That 30,000 of basis is going to be taxed at the ordinary income rates. The remaining amount, which is 170,000, that's your net unrealized appreciation. That is the amount that's going to be subject to the much lower capital gains tax rates. Okay. So we're assuming that the person is over 59 and a half. And we are going to start looking at what these numbers look like just to keep apples to apples. We're just looking at if you do the NUA strategy versus not doing it. So I want you to focus on this column over here, not doing the NUA strategy, and then doing the NUA strategy here. Within this scenario, the system just assumes that you're going to pay those ordinary income taxes within the by selling some of the stock to cover it. You're not coming out of pocket necessarily. But the moral of the story is that by carving out that employer stock and treating it with long-term capital gains treatment versus ordinary income rates, if you were to just process that transaction in 1 year and you're done with it, you liquidate everything out of the IRA, you liquidate everything out of your company stock. If you don't do the net unrealized strategy, you're going to be looking at a tax bill of approximately $48,000. Okay. If you do it with the with the net unrealized strategy, then you are going to be in a much more favorable position and you come out ahead by about $15,000. So you're basically saving $15,300 right out of the gate by utilizing the net unrealized appreciation strategy. Okay. That is just the bare bones, assumption of just it all gets wrapped up in 1 year. You're distributed from the 401k plan, the IRA, all that good stuff. But what if we held on to the stock for a period of years, right? What happens if you pull that employer stock out via net unrealized appreciation, goes into a brokerage account, you pay the ordinary income tax rate on the basis of $30,000, the remainder of it now, what you're left over is still invested in the company stock. And, let's say it grows each year 7% per year. and you keep it in there for 5 years. Let's move this toggle over a little bit. What happens to the numbers now? Now you've got that stock appreciating, right? And you're waiting to sell it. And now, what does it look like? Now you're coming out ahead by about $19,722. So just being aware of this strategy and executing it properly is, great opportunity to save significant amounts in taxes. A lot of people don't know about it. Again, the people that do know about it, sometimes they don't always implement it the right way. I will tell you, I would not go into this strategy without consulting a tax advisor or a certified financial planner to walk you through it. Something that I have found to be very helpful, and I will link it in the description of this video, is a flow chart that will help you figure out what you're looking at. Can you do a net unrealized appreciation distribution? Just because we, can do something doesn't mean we should, but before we even think about whether we're going to do it, we need to know whether we can, whether we're eligible, and that's where a lot of people get tripped up. So I'm going to link this flow chart in the comments, in the description, and I encourage you guys to dive in there. This flow chart, I use it. I know other advisors use it to just make sure that they're looking at all the different angles when advising clients. As you can see, there are significant tax savings available, but you have to implement it properly, and that's the most challenging part. So I'm going to link this flowchart and guide in the description. Please check it out. If you guys have any questions, please leave me your questions or comments in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much for watching.